Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. You already know, man, and you know what time it is. I'm on my lunch break. It is 12 o'clock here in South Carolina, and I thought there would be a great time for us to talk some Saints news. Of course, we already know it's game day, man. Finally, we get some Saints football, man. You know, watching all this training camp footage and keeping up with all this training camp news. I mean, that's cool, man. All fine and dandy and stuff. But to actually get some football, man, I'm really excited about that. It is preseason. You call it for what it is. I mean, nobody really checking for preseason like that. But still, man, to know that our New Orleans Saints are about to take the field inside the Superdome, regardless if we're going to see some starters or not, it's still a good thing, man. So I'm really excited. Saints game day, they taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Seems like the Saints play the Minnesota Vikings like every single year now. I mean, it's as if they play in the same division or something. I don't know, but I'm excited about it. This has been the first time I think the Saints have opened up preseason in the Superdome in a long time, man. I don't think I can remember the last time I seen the Saints inside of the Superdome to open up preseason, but that's pretty cool, man. I'm excited about that. So, one thing that a lot of people are asking, are we going to see a lot of Teddy Bridgewater? And I'm going to say absolutely. You're going to see a lot of Teddy Bridgewater. I would be highly surprised if Drew Brees plays any this preseason, probably for the exception of the third game of preseason, which the NFL calls it the dress rehearsal game. You know, that's when the starters play a little bit longer. But I'll be highly surprised I see some Drew Brees out there, which you shouldn't, man, because, I mean, we already know what Drew Brees can do, man. It's time for us to see what Teddy Bridgewater, what he doing, man. Last time we seen Teddy Bridgewater play in an actual game, it didn't look too good, man. It wasn't very promising. Now, you could make some arguments about that because it was Week 17, and the New Orleans Saints, they kind of wrapped it up. They wrapped up everything. They won the division. They already had the best record in all of football. So they decided to go and get some offensive line off the street just to get them to play in this game, you know, in Week 17. So to have Teddy Bridgewater play with a respectable line, guys that actually have chemistry and not just three random dudes that just came off the street, you know that you're probably going to see the best of Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, this is the time, man. This is the time right here. I mean, it is time for Teddy Bridgewater to shine and see if he is the true undisputed successor to Drew Brees once he retires, man. Because I like Teddy Bridgewater, but sometimes I gotta be honest. You know, it seems like the lights get a little bit too bright for him. I don't know if he be overthinking too much, or he just, I don't know. He just lets stuff get to his head, or he doesn't make the right decisions. I don't know. But it's time, man. You know, a lot of people are very skeptical about Teddy Bridgewater, man. It's time for you to go out there and ball, Teddy. You know, leave all of the white noise, you know what I'm saying, drown out all the white noise and just focus on playing the game. Because there's no excuse for you not to be successful. The Saints have one of the best offenses in all of football. Rather, they're playing the starters like Michael Thomas and Jared Cook, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoever out on the field. I mean, you can get Emmanuel Butler out there and you probably go out there and ball out. Or Traquan Smith can play the majority of the snaps, and you still going to get some dudes that can ball out. So there's no excuse for Teddy Bridgewater to not play well this preseason. I mean, you also have some backups that can be starters anywhere right now, man. I can think of at least, excuse me, I can think of at least three backup offensive linemen on the Saints team. If you take them off the Saints team, they'll be starting somewhere else. So there's no excuse, man. I ain't saying he got to go out there and set the world on fire, throw 5 touchdowns or nothing, but we need to see some good spots coming from Teddy Bridgewater. What's going on, Kerry? Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you supporting the podcast. I love doing the podcast, man. I love doing feedback and interacting with great Who Dat fans like yourself, man. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. What else am I looking forward to? Oh yeah, before I get back into it, let me know what you're looking forward to for this game in preseason. What are you looking for? Preseason game one, man, you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for some hungry guys out there. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys that are hungry. I want guys to go out there and perform to the best of their abilities. That's all I want. I'm not trying to see guys go out there, you know what I'm saying, and just, lay an egg, man. This is a great opportunity right now. And a lot of people don't understand, it's not just about making the Saints, okay? You might go out there and another team might pick you up because of your performance. I mean, when you look at the wide receiver corps of the Saints, right? Man, it is very, very deep. You're going to see a guy that probably you would have thought going to make the Saints team is not going to make the Saints team at the wide receiver position. But he is going to go out there and he's going to make another person's squad. You know what I'm saying? Another team is going to pick one of these guys up. So I'm interested, man. I talked about on my podcast, I'm talking about Lil Jordan Humphrey. Okay, I know y'all probably don't know who that is. And that's sad. You know what I'm saying? Because before minicamp, everybody was talking about Lil Jordan Humphreys. He's a rookie who came out of University of Texas, and he played pretty good for the University of Texas, man. He has great upside. Man, I think he's about 6'4", about 215, 220 or something like that. Excuse me. And this guy is pretty good. I think he had maybe like 9 or 10 touchdowns last season for the Longhorns. I thought he would have played a whole lot more. That's why I thought he would have played a whole lot more when it came to training camp. I thought we would have been talking about him like we're talking about Emmanuel Butler. But I haven't heard anything about Lil Jordan, man, and that's sad because this guy has a lot of upside. I know a lot of people are comparing Emmanuel Butler to Marcus Colston, but he was more like Marcus Colston to me. Wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but he can get open, man, and he can bully his way into a catch. You know what I'm saying? Like he can catch those contested catches. And I thought I'd be seeing a lot more of Humphreys, but I haven't seen nothing, man. I didn't see nothing of Lil Jordan. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what was going on, but it seemed like Emmanuel Butler kind of took his shine because I thought for sure we would have heard a lot more about Lil Jordan. So hopefully, he gonna get an opportunity, man. He gonna get some playing time. They're gonna put him out there on the field. So if he goes out there and he performs, maybe he'll make the practice squad or he even make somebody else's team. I don't see him starting for the Saints. I mean, I think the Saints already got their starters. I mean, let's call them out, right? Michael Thomas, Traquan Smith, Ted Ginn Jr. I got Keith Kirkwood. I got Emmanuel Butler. And usually the Saints probably, they take on maybe 6 wide receivers, so you can probably do Austin Carr or something like that, man. So I don't know, man. Lil Jordan, unless he's thinking about making a practice squad, I don't see him making the Saints team. But he could go out there and maybe make somebody else squad, man. That's what I want to see. Somebody else I want to see. I want to see Marcus Davenport, man. I want to see Davenport. Look, Marcus Davenport, when he was on the field, man, he showed flashes. I mean, he showed that he can take over a game. All right, I can remember the Washington Redskins game. Of course, it was the Monday Night Football game when Drew Brees became the all-time leading passer. Man, he was all over that field. I mean, he was all up in Alex Smith's face. I mean, I can see a couple of contested, batted down balls. He was one of the reasons why the Saints forced the turnover. And, of course, in the Minnesota game, when they played the Vikings on primetime. So it seems like, the bright lights don't affect Marcus Davenport. It seems like he rises to the occasion during primetime games. But, look, we don't need him to be just primetime Marcus, okay? We need him to be regular time Marcus Davenport as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool for you to turn it up. I like that, but you need to be consistent. And he hasn't been consistent, man. Some games he'll play absolutely incredible, and you'll be like, God, dog, man, the Saints, they traded up to get this guy, man. That's what's up, man. They getting more bang for their buck here. And then you got other times where you're like, man, where Davenport at, man? You're looking for number 92, and he's nowhere to be found. So I'm interested to see how Davenport is going to play not only in preseason, but the regular season too, man. I mean, come on, man. I mean, can you imagine if Marcus Davenport goes out there and he just acts a plum fool, okay? He acts a plum fool, and then you got Cameron Jordan on the other side. You can have probably another Freeney and Mathis, okay? Now, you probably don't know what that is, some of y'all, but these are 2 guys that played for the Indianapolis Colts. You had Robert Mathis on one side. Then you had the White Freeney. And these guys were coming off the edge, man. They was getting to the quarterback. You can have that with the Saints. But it's up to Marcus Davenport, man. You got to stay healthy. And I know I seen some interviews. I seen it. He was talking about how he was overthinking plays and how he was getting all nervous and stuff like that. You know, like, I understand that, man. You know, I mean, you're young. You know, team trade up for you. They want you to perform. And if you don't perform, then people are like, man, they wasted a pick. Look, I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's just football, man. It's just something that you've been doing your whole entire life. And you're really good at it, okay? So just drown all that nonsense out and just go out there and play like we know that you can. If you play like you play with against the Minnesota Vikings and the Washington Redskins, bro, you'll be a first-team All-Pro. So Marcus Davenport is somebody that I'm interested in seeing in this preseason and in this regular season. But what are you looking forward to? Let me know. The comment down below. First off, shouts out to Amanda. Amanda says, I want to see Lil Jordan Humphreys from Texas. No one is talking about him. I hate to say it like this, Amanda, but he's not giving people a reason to talk about him. I mean, think about this, right? You had Saquon Hampton, all right? Saquon Hampton is a safety that the Saints drafted from Rutgers, okay? His primary goal, like the Saints only drafted this guy because he was a short tackler, and they were going to use him on special teams. Anytime you heard about him, rather it was post-draft interviews, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, the head coach, the only thing they talked about with Hampton was special teams, special teams, special teams. Then all of a sudden, Marcus Williams couldn't play or he couldn't go during training camp. And the next thing you know, here comes Saquon Hampton, and two scrimmages, he had 2 turnovers, okay? He picked off Teddy Bridgewater, and he picked off Drew Brees in a black and gold scrimmage. I mean, come on now. Like, you have to go out there. You got to make a name for yourself. Look, we can talk about names all day. We can talk about upsides and 40-yard dashes all you want to. You can be as fast as you want to be. You can be as tall and as strong as you want to be. But if you're not going out there executing and you're not going out there making a name for yourself and popping off the coach's screen after practice or leaping, you know what I'm saying, off the field and coaches are looking at you, then you're not doing your job, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was talking about Saquon Hampton. Nobody was talking about this guy. Now, all of a sudden, people are saying, man, they need to try to put this guy into the rotation. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was supposed to be the guy that the Saints picked up to generate turnovers. They picked him up because, 1, he can generate turnovers, and number 2, when he generates turnovers, he has a knack of getting to the end zone. He has a knack of getting those pick sixes. But when you have Saquon Hampton, a guy who they just thought was going to be a special team player, all of a sudden, this man had 2 turnovers, okay, taking advantage of the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And he took advantage of it, and the next thing you know, look at him. You know, now he's probably going to get more playing time. That is what you want. That is exactly what you want, man. So I'm excited about that, man. You got to be. You got to be excited about Saquon Hampton. But Lil Jordan Humphreys has done absolutely nothing to pop off. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has all this opportunity, man. Like, he had a great opportunity, and he's not taking advantage of it. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to give you anything. You can have all the measurables, but if you're not doing anything, you're not worth talking about. There's no need to talk about you. But, I mean, who knows, man? Maybe he's one of those guys. You know, some people, you know, they kind of slack off in practice, and then the next thing you know, you put them on the field, and they just out there just killing it. So maybe that's Lil Jordan Humphreys. Hopefully for him. Anthony, thanks for the broadcast. It really helps. Man, thank you for listening and viewing this video, man. I appreciate it. Byron Brown, you can be a head coach. Man, I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about being no head coach. I just love sports, man. I love it. Been watching the Saints since I was 4 years old. And why I got into broadcasting has a lot to do with the former voice of the Saints, Jim Henderson, man, because I say this story all the time. If you looked at any of my videos, the New Orleans Saints wasn't good when I was growing up. So the only way that you can catch the games was on the radio because the games were blacked out. And Jim Henderson used to be on, on the radio, and he's one of the reasons why I ended up doing radio in the first place, man. So I don't know about being a head coach, but I can talk about sports. uh, Anthony Tillman, I want to see Drew show them he's not washed up. Look, man, look. Oh my goodness, man. I'm trying to be calm. But it's just amazing to me how everybody talking about Tom Brady, 42 years old, and nobody's saying he's washed up, and all of a sudden Drew Brees is just washed up. The media does not like the Saints. I'm sorry. Look, it's facts. They do not like the New Orleans Saints. Okay, any way they can to try to destroy them, discredit them, the fans, they always trying to do it. First, they up here talking about the fans are being crybabies because we talking about the NFC Championship game and they brought it to court. Whatever, dude. The media always been throwing shade at the New Orleans Saints ever since the Minnesota Miracle. First off, the Minnesota Miracle happened and the Saints weren't going to get back to the playoffs. They're going to be too demoralized. They're not going to have what it takes. This is going to be a crushing blow. And then the next day, you know, the Saints the following season had the best record in the NFL. And all of a sudden, the NFC Championship game happened. Oh, they're going to fall off a cliff. Oh, New Orleans Saints, they're not going to have it. Oh, they still got the NFC Championship in the back of their minds. The New Orleans Saints are a good football team. And I can make an argument to say they're the best team in the league on paper. Okay, of course, you have to play these games, okay, you don't play on paper, and we're not playing Madden and we're not simulating. Okay, I played a game of Madden 20 on yesterday and I simulated and the Saints went 13-3. Okay, if we're simulating the season, then the Saints would be the best team, okay, to me. All right, you still got to play the games, but to me, they're the best team in the league. But, of course, when you have teams like the Saints who are not a part of the natural order, you know, they're not the Cowboys, they're not the Philadelphia Eagles, they're not the New England Patriots, they're not the Steelers. They're a team that has a small market, but a very, very passionate fan base. The media don't like that. They don't like that, man. They don't like the all-time leading passer of the National Football League plays for the Saints. They would rather him play for the Philadelphia Eagles or the New England Patriots. They're not checking for no Drew Brees, man. Anytime they can try to discredit the man, they're going to do it. But I tell you what, they can discredit him all you want to, okay? You can discredit him all you want. Only the media will make a person believe that a team that goes 13-3 are going to fall off a cliff. I mean, honestly, man. Only the media will try to convince people. And the crazy thing about it is you got people out here that's believing this, man. You got people out here that are believing this garbage. Every single year, you have all these cowboy fans who are disguised as media people who tell you that the Cowboys are worth us watching on television every year. I will say this. For the past 2 years, okay, the Dallas Cowboys, they have emerged. But before that, they were just making it off namesake. Be honest, man. They're just making it off namesake. It was just the fact that they're always being talked about, okay, because of Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett, but they weren't worth talking about, man, and they weren't worth being on TV. We all know this, okay? We all know this. Them boys have been making it off them 5 Super Bowls for the past 25 years, all right? They've done absolutely nothing. Philadelphia was doing absolutely nothing until they won a Super Bowl. The Giants, for years, have not done absolutely nothing. Okay? Nothing. But they always dominate the storylines. They're not checking for the Saints, people. I'm sorry. Okay? Even when the Saints were winning and they had to talk about them, they would talk about the Saints, but they would talk about their opponent. Okay? They would talk about the opponent more than they talked about the Saints. Okay, for example, if the Saints played the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You remember that game in the regular season when the Saints absolutely destroyed Philadelphia? I mean, just destroyed them at the Superdome. They talked about the Saints maybe 2 minutes. The segment was 15. And they talked about the Philadelphia Eagles for 13. So, that show you right there, man. They ain't checking for no Saints, man. They're not checking for Drew Brees. But he's not going to fall off a cliff, man. the way that the Saints are structured, they understand what Drew Brees is. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, the Saints are now a run-first team. Believe it or not. I mean, you're not seeing Drew Brees throwing for 400 yards anymore, do you? When the last time you seen Drew Brees throw for 400 yards? I haven't. They're a run-first team. You know what I'm saying? They are a run-first team now. And I love it. I absolutely love it. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, you have to run the football. You got to run the football, and that's going to set up the play action. Okay, when you set up the play action, it confuses defenses. So if you got Alvin Kamara running wild, Latavius Murray running wild, that's going to really mess up the defense and make them confused. And the Saints are going to absolutely destroy people because Drew Brees is going to put his receivers in the best position. Okay, he's going to put his players in the best position to succeed on the offensive side of football. So I'm interested to see how Drew Brees is going to respond. Me personally, I like it. I love it, man. Drew Brees is a competitor. He is a competitor, man. So you don't think he's watching that people saying he's going to be washed up? This man going to be MVP. Just watch. And I'm not even trying to sound like a homer. He's going to be MVP. Everybody talking about Big Ben because Antonio Brown gone, all that stuff, whatever, man. Drew Brees is the man, and I feel like he's going to be the MVP unless they decide to get somebody else in there that they can talk about to try to discredit the legacy and the greatness of Drew Brees. Gomez said, I want to see running back Washington. He showed me a flash last year. Look, I'm about to tell you something right now. Y'all heard it right here on the State of the Saints podcast. Dwayne Washington is going to take Latavius Murray's spot. You heard it right here. Dwayne Washington is going to take Latavius Murray's spot, and I'm going to tell you why. I watched Latavius Murray since he was an Oakland Raider. Did you hear me? Since he was in Oakland. Okay, you remember he played like 3 years with Minnesota. Good quality running back. Always been hurt. Good quality running back. Always been hurt. So, he's going to be productive when he's out there. But he is going to stay in the locker room. Honestly, man, Dwayne Washington to me is the guy that nobody's talking about. Dwayne Washington to me could be the Saints' next Pierre Thomas. That's just the truth, man. Nobody see this guy coming. But when he played in that Cincinnati Bengal game and when he played against the Carolina Panthers in Week 17, he really showed me that, man, he's something special, man. Now, I know they went out there and got Latavius. That's cool. I ain't got no problem with Latavius. But Dwayne Washington going to take his spot. You heard it here first. It is going to be Alvin Kamara and Dwayne Washington in the backfield. And Dwayne Washington is going to be one of the next top Saints running backs. It's not going to be Latavius Murray. I've never been high on Latavius. I think he's good. But at the end of the day, he's hurt all the time. He missed 5 practices with the Saints already because he's dealing with injuries. He's injury prone, folks. And Dwayne Washington is going to step in, man. Nobody's talking about him right now, but I'm telling you, he is going to be the Saints' next Pierre Thomas. You heard it here first. Everett says, is Dez Bryant coming back? No. No. No, he's not coming back, man. He is not coming back. Look, I love Dez Bryant, man. Dez Bryant is the heavyweight champion of Twitter, all right? I didn't say of the NFL. I said of Twitter. And the fact of the matter is this, man. This is the harsh reality. Speed is not going to keep you in the National Football League, okay? Because as time goes on, you're going to lose your speed, okay? You can be as quick as you want to be. But you have to learn how to run the route tree. Yeah, but anyway, man, little technical difficulties. I was in the production room and somebody needed to use it. So now I'm in my office and now we can finish talking about what I was saying. Okay, but anyway, Latavius Murray, back to him. Latavius Murray has a tendency of always being hurt. He never seemed to be on the field the way that I feel like a running back needs to be. So I think that somebody like Dwayne Washington is going to come in and take his spot, plain and simple. I mean, I think that he is going to be a really good running back. And I think I was just talking about Dez Bryant also. I'm just kind of confused right now. But I was talking about Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, is he going to come back, play for the Saints? No. It's not going to happen. He's not going to play for the Saints. I wish him well. But once again, being fast, running fast is only going to get you so far, because when you start to get up in age and you start to, slow down, the only thing that you're going to be able to depend on is your ability, to run those routes. Why you think people like Larry Fitzgerald and all those other guys, they last so long? Because they can run the route tree. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to run those routes, and you got to be able to go out there and execute. And I don't feel like Dez Bryant did that. I think that he was just out there, taking advantage of the situation. And sadly, I don't think that he ever developed. I just think that he was just out there taking advantage of the fact that he was Dez Bryant playing on America's team, and he was getting all the attention, and I don't think he ever just got any better. You have to continue to improve yourself every single season, man, and every single day. You have to get better. We look at wide receivers like we have Michael Thomas. Every single year he got better and better and better. And that's what you want from a player. When you have people like Dez Bryant that's only relying on those fade routes to the end zone, and going out there and you want Tony Romo or Dak Prescott to throw you 70-yard bombs, and you think that you're going to get behind that cornerback, that's going to last, I don't know, maybe a couple years, but then all of a sudden you're going to get that knee injury, the ankle sprain, and it's going to slow you down, and that's what happened with Dez Bryant. Now, I think that there is a spot for Dez Bryant on somebody's team. Buffalo is always looking for a wide receiver. San Francisco, they need somebody, I'm pretty sure. There's several teams that would acquire his services, but at the end of the day, I don't want to see him with the Saints anymore, man. I think last year was what last year was. I think that the Saints just needed somebody to fill in because Ted Ginn Jr. was hurt, and they needed somebody to come in, and Dez Bryant was a guy that they can call. And now they don't have that issue anymore, because now you have the emergence of these young wide receivers like Austin Carr and Keith Kirkwood and Traquan Smith, guys that are familiar with the playbook, and they can understand the offensive schemes now. They know what it takes. So, to be honest with you, I don't think that there's a spot for Dez Bryant on the New Orleans Saints team, man. But it's sad, man. But it is what it is, man. I hope that he finds a team though, because he does have the talent to do it. If you're just joining us, at first I did a video, but I had to relocate. So what happened is I'm actually in my office right now, and I'm asking the question, what are you looking forward to this preseason game, the Saints playing against the Minnesota Vikings? What are you looking for? What do you think of the Saints? And I'm also answering any question that you may have about the black and gold. Any question that you have, man, just let me know. I'm looking down at the screen right now. Trevor Sutherland says, morning from Oregon. Man, wow. You out there in Oregon, man. What's going on, man? I appreciate you looking at the video and supporting the podcast. Anthony, you said, do I see Teddy being our future leader? As of right now, I'm going to say yes. I think that Teddy Bridgewater can be a great successor to Drew Brees, a guy who you don't have to coach up, a guy that you don't have to worry about going through those rookie growing pains. I think that it would be a good look, but I got to see something out of Teddy Bridgewater this preseason, man. Last preseason for the Jets, he showed that he had what it takes, man. But I want to see him elevate his game, man. There's no excuse. I talked about Week 17 against the Carolina Panthers. It wasn't a good outing for Teddy Bridgewater, but he was also playing against guys that came off the street on the offensive line. So he's not going to be playing with guys that's off the street. He knows these offensive linemen. He's been playing with them since training camp, so shouldn't be no problem. So if Teddy Bridgewater can go out there and show what he got, I'm not saying he got to throw 5 touchdowns, but he got to show something, man. You got to show something. Bernard says, what do you think of our chances of making the playoffs this year? I think we're going to make the playoffs. I don't think there's no doubt in my mind about that, unless, something like tragic happened, like they just have injuries left and right. I see the Saints making the playoffs. I think that, they might go 12-4 instead of 13-3, but I think they are going to make the playoffs. I know they play a lot of championship teams. They play conference champions this year. I mean, they're playing teams in the NFC West. You got to play, you got to play the Arizona Cardinals. You got to play against the Seattle Seahawks. You got to play against the 49ers and the Rams. And then you also got to play some first place teams, man. So I think they got what it takes, man. I don't think the Saints are afraid. You know, I think that they built for this, man. They built to play against the best of the best, the creme de la creme. They also playing against the AFC South, so they're going to start the season off against the Houston Texans, a team that they always struggle against. So I'm interested to see how they're going to play against them. But I got them going 12-4. I think they're going to make the playoffs, man. And I think they're going to right the wrongs of last year. So hopefully they can make it all the way. Let's see. Terry, I think he's supporting his YouTube. I mean, he shouting out his YouTube there. Man, much love, man. Y'all check Terry out, whatever he got going right there. Joseph Hudson, will it be nationally televised? I don't think it's going to be nationally televised, but if you have the NFL Network, there are schedules. They play every preseason game, so if you're somewhere else, there is a time where you can actually catch the preseason game of the New Orleans Saints on the NFL Network. And they don't pay me for that, but they need to because I just plugged them. All right. Is Alizé Mack playing tonight or is he still hurt? Alizé Mack, you know how it is, man. Sean Payton, he not really talking about injuries. He come from the Bill Parcells school where they don't talk about announced injuries. So I don't know. You won't know probably until game time with that. Then they'll probably release like the reports or whatever. Darrell Terrell. It says, how's our DBs do good this year? I guess you're saying, will our DBs do good this year? Yeah. I think the DBs will do good this year because they're going into their third year. And I think it's going to be a lot of chemistry there, man. I mean, these guys came into the league together for the most part. You got Marshawn Lattimore, you got Marcus Williams. I mean, you got Eli Apple. He played with the Giants, but I mean, these guys have chemistry, man. And you got Von Bell. I mean, it's going to be better because guys are going to be able to talk to each other. I think Marshawn Lattimore said to the media, he said guys understand one another. He said you can get into a guy's face and they not taking it personal. He said because they know that you're only just saying that to get them better, and nobody have egos and stuff like that. And that's what you want, man. I mean, I think about this, if you have a brotherhood, you got some brothers, you know how it is, man. You can go over and you can tell your brother when he messing up. You can say, man, that ain't cool. That ain't a good look. You know what I'm saying? And they won't take it personal because they know you have their best interests at heart. So I like when Marshawn Lattimore said that. It seems like these guys are maturing. So I think that you're going to see some good chemistry from the secondary, which they need, man. I just want to see them start off strong because that's been a huge issue. That's been a huge issue for them. Who's going to be our third running back? Any chance we pick up Alex Collins? I think it all depends on how good these running backs are this preseason. Sean Payton often says, he wants to get the right 53. He said, and if they're not in the building, maybe they're outside of the building. So Sean Payton doesn't just look at the guys that he actually has in camp. He goes out there and he looks at other guys as well. So if these guys aren't producing, then he's probably going to go out there and probably get somebody else that probably had a decent preseason that they probably looked at the tape and probably said, you know what, I think he might be beneficial to what we're trying to do here. So you never know, man. But right now, I think the Saints got a good collection of running backs, man, that can go into the regular season and make some noise. So as of right now, I don't think Alex Collins is necessary. Do you think Drew will play tonight? No, I don't. I don't think Drew is going to play. I don't think he needs to play. I mean, Drew Brees was going to like 19th season. I mean, what have you not seen out of Drew Brees? So what's the point? Like put him on the side, man. Put him in a Saints shirt somewhere, man, with a headphone on and put one of them Microsoft Pros in his hand or something like that so he can tell Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill what they did wrong. All right. Do you think losing Mark Ingram will affect the team in any way? I just think the energy of the team, what Mark Ingram brought to the locker room, I think that it just can't be replaced. Okay. On the field, I mean, his production, I guess you can replace that, man. You put another running back, and with Latavius Murray, if you ever look at his stats against Mark Ingram's, they're pretty much identical. But I just think that what Mark Ingram brought to the locker room, the leadership, and just the character that he was, man, I think they're going to lose that. But as far as like production on the field, I think that can be replaced. But there's only one Mark Ingram, man. I was watching a video that he was mic'd up at Baltimore Ravens camp. And this guy really made me miss him being a part of the New Orleans Saints, man. Just the character that he is, the energy that he brings, and we all know about his famous slogan, "Look at the details." So, man, I miss that, man. I really do. I think that part is going to be missed. So, Bradford said, "Let's get this win." Yeah, let's get a win, man. Like that's all we need right now. We just need something that we can hang our hats on right now. How are we looking at center, seeing Max Unger is going? Eric McCoy, the rookie out of Texas A&M, is doing an outstanding job. I mean, this guy's getting better every day. And it seems like the Saints are ready to dub him as the starter because for the last 5 days of training camp, he's been starting at center. So I don't think that the Saints drafted this guy for him to be sitting on the sidelines and getting 1 year of mental reps. This guy's going out there and he's going to play. So I'm excited to see Eric McCoy. I think he's going to be a good, solid center. And the way that the Saints coaching staff have been talking about him and the way that they just plugged him in immediately to be the starter for the Saints, and he's been doing that for the last 5 days, I think the writing's on the wall. Eric McCoy is going to be the starter. Will he be Max Unger? There's only one Max Unger, but he can be close. But it's really up to Eric McCoy. Yeah, Mark is a hype monster. That's what the Saints are going to miss because that's who he is, man. He's the energy, man. He's the blood, man, that pumped through the veins. You know what I'm saying? Like so, he's definitely going to be missed. Do I think Alvin going to play? Probably a series, if that. Okay, maybe a series. I like Jared Cook. How is he looking in training camp? Awesome, man. I mean, if you look at the packages offensively that they have, he's going to be a very important role to the offense. And to be honest with you, man, like the Saints really need that at the tight end position, man. The Saints numbers have been down each year since Jimmy Graham has left at the tight end position. And that's something that Drew Brees have been missing because if you look at the past, Drew Brees has always relied on a tight end, on the field, and I think that with Jared Cook, the guy he's a good pass catcher, he's a good blocker, and he can get them yak yards. I think he's going to be really good for Drew Brees because getting that yards after the catch and also being a good blocker is something that Jimmy Graham didn't do. Now you have a guy that can be on the field every down, and you don't know how to cover him. You don't know if he's going to be effective in a running game or he's going to go out and try to catch a pass. So he's been doing an outstanding job. I think he was talking about in an interview, Jared Cook. He was talking about the chemistry between him and Drew Brees. So I think they have some amazing chemistry, and I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I think this is the best offense Jared Cook ever played on. And this guy was incredible last season for the Oakland Raiders. This guy was a tight end that led his team in receptions. He's a tight end, okay? Not a wide receiver, not a running back. He's a tight end, and he led his team in receptions. That goes to show you what type of player Jared Cook is. Michael Thomas is going to shine this year. Yeah, I think he is because a lot of people are talking about this $100 million contract like this man a scrub or something. Like this man don't, he was just playing to get that bread. I don't think that it's like that. I think that he's playing, because he wants to be the best. I mean, he's a competitor. So I don't think $100 million is going to affect him at all. Might affect the way he roll up to the Superdome, a new whip or something. But I don't think it's going to affect his ability to perform at a high level. I think he's a guy who feels like he's still being slighted because people are still mentioning, other players at the wide receiver position before they mention him. So I think that he still has that chip on his shoulder. He just has $100 million on that shoulder as well. How do you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to do? I said I think he's going to do well, but It's not really up to me. It's up to Teddy. But I want to say thank you all for commenting and also checking out this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. Subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. So thank you all very much for your love and your support. And if you're looking at this video and you have not followed on Facebook, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. And I'm looking forward to this season, man. And lastly, before I go, I didn't give a prediction score. So I'm going to say that the Saints are going to win this game tonight. I think they're going to win 27-13. 27-13. I think the New Orleans Saints are going to get it done. All right. So till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?